faithful loyal YouTube subscribers. Today is Friday, July 12th, but it's almost Saturday, July 13th. The year is 2019. It's been a long day, kind of a hot day. I did a video earlier about R. Kelly, and there was another video I was working on where I scratched it. Anyway, I keep getting these questions from a lot of people, associates that I know, who have noticed what is going on in our community, gay and straight, with so many guys, particularly men, escorting and prostituting, or whatever, being prostitutes or escorts, male escorts, prostitutes, or exposing themselves on nude, online, doing these fans-only pages, where they're jacking off or doing some type of sexual act for a favor, for financial gain, sex acts, and you have a lot of men who should be out earning income, working a job someplace. Particularly, this has become a huge issue in the black gay community, where you have so many black attractive guys who are out here escorting and selling themselves for sexual favors. It's a huge amount of them that it's like, okay, well, where did they come up with this stuff from? Why has this become such a huge income for people today? Well, I guess it's always existed, but we've probably never seen so many men selling their bodies in the past decade or so. And I've come to the conclusion, after talking to a lot of my associates who do this escorting, a lot of these men witness their own mother doing this. A lot of these guys, let's just face the facts, a lot of these guys come from single-family homes. They have no idea who their father is. And they watched their mother survive the best way she knew how. She was scratching and surviving the best way she knew how. And in many cases, she was selling herself to men for money, being a prostitute in her home and having. Some of y'all have to understand, a lot of these guys come from some very rough, horrible backgrounds. And I'm grateful to have grown up. And I tell my mothers, we have our differences on a lot of stuff. But I always tell my mother, I'm grateful that I grew up in a home where I had a mother there and a father there, and there was a lot of positive stuff taking place in that home that made me who I am today. I don't knock my mother for that. We have our differences when it comes to how she raised us as a Jehovah's Witness, but everything else I think she had right. She was kind of a disciplined. She believed in discipline, maybe a little bit too extreme, to the point that maybe today she might be charged with some crimes. You know, they might be putting Miss Hampton, Alberta Hampton, in some handcuffs, and she did some of that shit today. However, I never watched my mother sell herself or be a prostitute or bring men into the home. Y'all only saw my mother with really one man. Now she's with some guy she's married to now. He just came in the past couple of years. But for years prior to my mother and father after my mother and father divorced, I didn't see her with any man. Only man I ever knew to ever be with was my father. That was it. Now, if there was any other men, I didn't know anything about it. There was some little African guy that kind of showed up on the scene, but he quickly disappeared. I don't know what that was about. But my mother, for the most part, was a good mother. But one of my friends, he told me hard stories about growing up where they didn't have food. And his mother was walking the streets and on drugs. And she would bring her customers into the home where they lived. And he would sit, and sometimes these guys would bring him food from McDonald's or whatever. And he would sit there eating this food while his mother was in a separate room having sex with these clients. And so this became normal for him. So when he became of age, after growing up in a household, watching his own mother prostitute, that he later on became an escort himself, selling himself to men also. See, some of these guys grew up in some horrible environments. And we as Black Americans, we tend to ignore this. But I haven't ignored this because I see it every day here in Atlanta. I see the poverty these guys grow up in. I see the background they come from. I see how they live it. I see how complicated things are for them. I know why these guys sell themselves and do the stuff that they do. Because when you grow up with nothing, you don't even know where your next meal is coming from. You have a mother who's thrown out on drugs and possibly not there. I remember this man, he told me how when his brother was arrested multiple times for prostitution, he would end up with his grandparents, and the situation wasn't better over there because he would be over there with other nieces and nephews who are also going through the same problems with their parents. And their grandparents couldn't take care of all these children. It was just some of these people come from some really bad, horrible backgrounds. And so they learn a skill set that I've met so many guys who told me that they escort for a living that is shocking. I mean, seriously, and I just sit back and look at them. Nice looking brothers. I say, this is what you do for a living? I mean, they just come out and say, well, I escort. And they'll tell me what they do sexually, what they charge, and I've heard it all. A couple of times I done fell over fainting, pick up, where am I? Because, you listen to the stuff and it's shocking sometimes. But I come to the conclusion people have to do what they have. People are going to do this to survive. Can you imagine growing up in a household where you barely made it to school, and a lot of these guys can barely function as an adult, they can barely read nor write, and they're having just a tough time? It's complicated. It's hard. It's complicated for these individuals. And they're getting younger and younger. I mean, I've met guys 19, 20, 21, escorts, selling themselves. I've met guys all over Instagram, hit me up, talking about sign up for my OnlyFans page, it's $2 a day. I'm like, well, I guess if you got 10,000 followers, $2 a day, if you can get $2 a day from everybody for you sitting there naked playing with yourself. I don't know, look, I'm trying to make sense of all this. The job market really isn't that great for a lot of African American men. They're struggling right now because they don't have the education. They just don't have it. I cannot be the only person who has met grown men with college degrees and they have difficulty reading and comprehension. They read it, but they literally read it and didn't understand a word what they said. It's like, do you understand what you just read? They can't comprehend it. It's kind of mind-boggling. You sit back and say, wow, but this man has a college degree. How do you get this degree? You can't even comprehend. How'd you pass the test? How? Is this possible? And you see it in degrees hanging on my wall, just expensive artwork. I know better. Waste my money on that damn bullshit, student loans up the ass. I'd rather just give me an expensive art. But I got some pictures I paid $10,000 for. So I just sit back and look at these people. And I just try to figure out, well, what are they doing? But all they can do is escort and sell themselves. And I don't understand why anyone, but I get it. If all you've ever seen is your mother and father selling themselves and being a prostitute, it's just unbelievable. It's hard to even understand. I don't even know what to I try to make sense of this stuff, and then you try to give people a pass. I've listened to these horror stories. It makes you grateful. I'm grateful the way I grew up in a stable household for the most part. It was stable. I mean, there's some issues after my mother and father divorced, but I blame that on my mother. However, she thought Jesus would provide. Of course, we know he didn't show up and do shit. So, you know how that is. We know Jesus don't show up. Everybody waiting on Jesus. Good luck waiting on that motherfucker. But you do have to wonder about people, and I don't know, you wonder about the guys who are escorting. What kind of money did he make? What kind of life is that? Where you're selling yourself for as much money as you can get, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to understand this stuff. I try to make sense of it. Because I've met so many guys who literally sell themselves, and they're nice looking, attractive men that for the most part you would think they got up and went to a 9 to 5, but they don't. They laid up on some hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, and they're running all over the United States, going here in Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, Vegas. I heard they lock you up in Vegas. But I've listened to these stories of these guys traveling all over the world, selling themselves. Going places, the Mediterranean, all kinds of stories. I listen to this stuff. And I just say, well, and then I listen to their background, where they came from, how they didn't have shoes, clean clothes, didn't have a bath every day, didn't have breakfast, didn't have any type of love, nobody to care for them. They came from some very tough, and some people cannot overcome those issues. Although they might be escorting and making a couple $100 a day or whatever, maybe, I don't know, they still financially just struggling. I don't know what these guys are making. They can't be making too much. They still struggling. I mean, if you're going to be out there escorting, prostituting, and selling yourself a private dancer, whatever you want to call it, you at least might want to make some money. We can pay your damn bills. And one of my friends, he has a daughter. And he literally escorts in his home while his daughter is in the other room. And literally, his daughter, she ain't no young child. She's old enough to have recently had a child. And while she's in her room, he's dealing with clients, multiple clients throughout the day. And I'm like, in the home with your daughter? Really? But it's true. I had to sit back and listen. Black folks come from some very rough times. On the outside, that's like you telling people about Atlanta. And I'm sure this is probably every city, because I know y'all take Atlanta for it. He talking about Atlanta again. But on the outside, if you're on the outside looking into Atlanta, you see these guys dressed nice on Instagram, nice cars. Some you think that's their home. But when you get to know them, and I've got to know quite a few of them, you're shocked about how these people are living their lives. Now, I'm not going to... Yeah, I'm just trying to make sense of this. But it's never crossed my mind to sell my body, ever. I don't think I've ever been in a bad position, financial position, where I felt the need to even do such a thing. I don't even think nobody want to buy it any damn way, but I have had some crazy people offer me money for sex, and I promptly turned it down. Like, I don't think so. But if I was in the mindset of these other people, I would have took that money and did whatever they asked me to. I don't need to. I've never been in that position. And I'm not trying to put down anyone in that position. If that's what you want to do and that's what you're comfortable doing, I would strongly suggest you find something else to do. But I've met so many people who are doing this that it's kind of like, okay, is this now the norm? The new norm? This dysfunction is ruling and taking a little control of our communities. I have a family member who prostitutes. I've known this for years. She didn't grow up in a household like that, but that's what she does. Why? I don't know why she does this. She's had plenty of opportunities to meet some very good men who wanted to marry her and take her off the streets. But you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Okay, it's not possible. And the same with these men out here. You can't turn these hoes into a husband. A hoe is just that, a hoe. They get to stay out there in the garden. They can't come into the big house. You be wasting your time. When these guys tell me they escort and they doing this and doing that, and I'm like, and then they tell you they're in a relationship with somebody, who would be in a relationship with a man or a woman who's out escorting and probably something's wrong here? What's going on here? I wouldn't be in a relationship with someone who's escorting and prostituting. Not me personally, but I know plenty of pimps who do that. Plenty of pimps who would be with a hoe and then be with a woman and sell her to other men. Now, that's just not for me. That ain't my cup of tea. But there's no way in hell I'm going to lay up next to a man knowing that he'd been out selling himself and had sexual relationships with other men and come back and get back in bed and me. What in the hell is going on here? No, thank you. Not for me. Ain't knocking it. It ain't for me. If that's what other guys are doing and they accept they had no problem with being in a situation like that and knock themselves out. Because I know plenty of people in situations like that. Some people are in, now I do know some guys who were in relationship with guys that had no clue these surprised guys were escorting. But this goes back to the dysfunction that we've normalized in our community. If you watch your mother or grandmother sell herself or prostitute, and you've not seen any positive influences of men in your life, I mean, you've never seen, y'all have to understand, you got entire families out here where there ain't a man doing a damn thing with no men at all to be found. None. No uncles, no nobody. All the men are either dead in jail or wherever they at. I don't know, Paris, France, who cares? Who knows? But you got all these women raising these kids, and these kids don't see any positive influence, any male influences in their life. They get used to seeing these women doing some crazy shit to survive, scratching and surviving. So like I said, if you're seeing your mom sell herself in the next room, and while all this is going on, you sitting there eating a Happy Meal, and you're just glad to have this food, and as you grow older, you begin to accept this as normal. This type of thinking. That's telling yourself there's some issues in our community that black folks just have not tackled for some odd reason. And I don't think we ever will seriously tackle them. Maybe we've lost so much in our communities that we don't even know how to move forward anymore. Maybe so much dysfunction has happened that we no longer know right from wrong. Normal from it's odd to me. But I know that there's a large group of men who in the Atlanta area who sell themselves for sexual favors, all kinds of stuff for money. I don't know why there's so many here, but there are. I don't even know how much money they make on a regular basis and how they survive, but they're doing it. I just like I said, a lot of these people come from some really bad backgrounds. Because somebody looks good and handsome, and a lot of these guys look very good, very handsome guys. But behind all that beauty is something horrible going on up here. Frightening. And it's scary. But hey, who am I? I'm just this crazy man on YouTube shooting videos, drinking a vodka and cranberry, trying to analyze this shit from a distance. I don't want to be in the thick of things no more. I just sit here and watch it and analyze it, try to make some sense of it. It's never crossed my mind to sell myself to anybody. Even when I was having financial difficulties when the market economy tanked in 2008, it never saw me go out and sell myself. To who? I couldn't even. And maybe the internet also, these websites have made it easier. But I'm a firm I believe firmly that people have witnessed this in their own home. They watch their mother or family members do this for a living, and they decide to walk down that same path. The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. And if you've witnessed this and you're comfortable with it, they tend to do the same thing. So that's just my thoughts on this. I'd love to hear your all's thoughts and what do you think about why there are so many men and women in our community, the black community. We are black. I know I may look a little Asian over here. But I'm just curious to know you all's thoughts. Why do you think so many of our men and women, particularly men, are escorting and selling themselves and doing sites like OnlyFans on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. These OnlyFans accounts where they're doing sexual favors for money. I'm getting sleepy as hell. Got my ass going to ball day. Then I went to the gym. I had a long workout today. But if you like my videos, click like. Please share them with family members and friends. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts about it. And if you got escort, how much money do y'all make on a regular basis? Do you report this to the IRS? Do you put your money? How do you get paid? You just, I got a lot of questions I want to know. But ultimately, the main question is, what made you decide to escort and sell your body? What took you down this path? What led you down this? What made you think this was the best thing for you to do? I'd love to hear those answers. Anyway, got plenty of time to answer those questions because today it is this we're going to bed. Today it is Saturday, July 13th, the year is 2019. My name is Walter the second. I'm ready to go my mind in bed. I'm tired. Anyway, love to look forward to you all reading y'all's comments and thoughts as to why so many men and women in our community are selling themselves. What made them decide that this was the best thing for them to do. Anyway, I'm out of here. Enjoy your night. Like I said, it's Saturday, July 13th now. Year 2019.